I am a fan of shonen anime, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So much so that I like to emulate my fight scenes based on some of their best animations. And recently My Hero Academia had an episode where Deku, the main character, fought against Overhaul the villain, and that animation was something else. I thought it'd be a great time to not only talk about it, but examine other great fights from the series. So in this video, we take a look and break down some of My Hero Academia's best animations and figure out how to animate a My Hero Academia styled fight scene coming up right after this. Welcome back Roundtable. This is Cliff from Roundtable Studios, where we help you enhance your animations, making them dynamic and sharing your stories. So I made a video like this earlier about Naruto and how to create a fight scene similar to those shows in the series, and you guys seem to enjoy it a lot, so I figured I'd keep going. And very similarly, and even more so than Naruto, My Hero Academia's fight scenes are nothing without a story. All Might vs. Nomu doesn't mean anything without the students struggling episodes before against regular villains and knowing about All Might's condition, and that double goes for All Might vs. All for One. My Hero shines in storytelling and character development, and that plays a major factor in why a lot of people are invested in their major fight scenes, even though it may not be as flashy or complicated as other animes. Now when it comes to its fight scenes, this is what you would call the anti-Naruto. Naruto, at least in his earlier fights, relied a lot on tactics and martial arts choreography to convey its scenes, while My Hero, even in the first couple episodes, relies a lot, and I mean a lot, on spectacle. My Hero Academia's fights are pretty, like really pretty. The main set of characters in My Hero are either superheroes or trained to be superheroes, based a lot on the American superhero, so martial arts isn't entirely necessary like it is for ninjas in Japan. So how do you make a fight scene look like Deku vs Todoroki or Mirror vs Overhaul? You need three things: poses, exaggeration, and impact. Now let's cover poses. Studio Bones has done a fantastic job translating the manga into the anime, and one of their key tricks is really keeping the fights as close to the manga as possible and not adding any crazy new choreography. The poses in the manga are the same poses they have in the anime. They are expressive, full of life, dynamic, energetic, and show a lot of character. Because they're not fast-paced, the poses that they do have almost have no choice but to feel like they're going to jump out the screen. This is also very interesting because they use a lot of slow motion on impact holds, so they save on time as well. You'll notice that in a lot of the combat, the character holds those key poses to emphasize them more. Hold them as they're speaking, on impact of a shot, etc. This is very typical in anime, but usually when it comes to their fight scenes, they go ahead and change it up to make it a lot more fluid, but My Hero keeps everything pretty static. What I like about this is that it keeps the fight simple and to the point. What I also really like about this is that when the animators decide they want to turn up, they add a little speed into the mix for some faster exchanges than usual, and the fight feels completely more dynamic. Like I remember when I saw Deku do the spin move for the first time on Deku vs Bakugo Part 2, my jaw immediately dropped. Or if you've seen the two heroes ending battle clip of Deku running at normal speed, going to slow motion, and then taking off feels really rewarding. So how can you apply this to your own scene? Keep your poses strong. Look at fighting games, or specifically fighting games with cinematic finishers. They adopt a similar method of making sure the poses feel dynamic and strong without having to do too much crazy choreography. Also, there's a short right here on YouTube of some professionals acting out in a My Hero style fight scene, and the same idea goes here for the poses. Very pronounced and very strong. Next thing is exaggeration. These points are going to go hand in hand with each other, but the poses wouldn't be anything if they weren't super exaggerated. If you're going to hold a pose so it sticks to people, you want to make sure that it's exaggerated. Not only the pose, but the effects and the camera. Punches aren't just regular punches, they're meteor dropping bombs. And the Bakugo's explosions all look like atom bombs. All the while Todoroki's flames are so massive that I really don't know how physically anyone's standing next to him without melting. Everything is big, massive, but purposeful. You never feel like any of this is too much or out of control, since the show opened up with a giant lady fighting a raccoon or rat or squirrel thing, and All Might punching a villain so hard that he cleared the sky. This is probably done to balance the poses to make them feel more dynamic and not static due to the amount of still poses. This gets really interesting when you watch the My Hero Academia movie, where Bones really amped it up by taking the animation to the next level and showed the characters to be a lot more fluid in the action scenes, while the effects, camera, and everything else is either at the show's usual extreme or a hell of a lot more. For your animation scenes, I would play a lot with the camera angle and the effects for this. A couple of camera tricks for exaggeration is a Dutch angle. Something about shooting something on a side angle just makes things a little more epic. Another thing is the revolving camera. I think UALA did a number on here, but it works. Not only do you want to keep the camera following the action, but you want to keep it moving too. A last little camera trick is that if your character has super speed and you're about to show that, zoom into the feet right before takeoff. It could be like a half a second, definitely nothing more than a second. It may not even be My Hero specific, but I did notice that in a couple of their scenes, that's what they do. When it comes to impact, this is where My Hero Academia shines. These hits look like it hurts. With the impacts, they really lean on timing and anticipation. For major moments, they really hold the hits, build the anticipation and power, and then do a quick release to show how powerful that hit really was. Sometimes they even do a close-up of the subject getting hit so you can see the impact as they're happening. What's more interesting is that when this happens, they sometimes deform the character designs to sell the effect even more. You can see that here in All Might's fight with Nomu, you can almost feel the anticipation build up right before the impact, and when it does, Nomu launches while All Might stays there. Another great one is the flash punch, I'll call it, when Deku hits Overhaul with the normal consecutive punches, and it delays the hit until the next shot. The Flash has a move like this in Injustice too, so even doing something like that to have interesting ways to show impact can make a difference. Though for 3 animation, depending on the rig, depends on how intense these impacts can be, but utilizing camera shake as well as the short frames in between poses will really make these hits feel really powerful. Keep in mind that My Hero also has different ways to illustrate combat. Obviously when Deku has One For All on, he has electricity coursing through him, or when Ida does his reciprocal burst, the focal length drastically changes the show's speed, anticipation, and momentum. And when Bakugo overuses his explosion, the hue reverses for a couple of frames to show that he's really beyond his limit. Increasing animation quality is a never-ending journey, and the more we practice, the better we get. The tips here are a great start to help enhance your action scenes, but what I have done is comprise a free ebook on 10 tips for animating action scenes that you can download in the description. You'll be entered in my email list where you'll get tailored weekly tips as well. The next video in this series we are tackling Demon Slayer, so make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified as soon as it releases. And feel free to comment and let me know what other anime you'd like me to cover. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.